I'll just wait for Drex to ready up, and then we'll hit the show intro.
Oh, I'm ready.
Oh, if you're ready, then I guess I'm ready.
And we're all ready.
Welcome to episode 28 of the Migtown podcast, your only weekly source for bunker busters that have nothing to do with military munitions. As always, I'm producer Tim. Joining me today is Drexel. Say hi.
What's up to everybody out there in the world?
And also joining us, back for more Gale videos because he didn't get enough last time. Say hi, RPM.
What's going on, gents? It is time to talk so much shit. So little time.
We watched another Gale video on the 5,000 caller special. All of Canada got bukkaked by the Jesuits.
Oh no, you got nukakied.
Nukakked. Yeah, a nuclear bukkake bomb hit Canada.
Ooh.
I remember it like it was yesterday. This woman's the funniest thing on YouTube.
She's a national treasure. International treasure. And you know what? The weirdest thing happened, man. I've been busy most of today running around with family, right? And it was my little cousin's birthday. And I'm just going to say this. We have a long way to go. The Red Pill does. The Red Pill community. And RPM, I don't know when's the last time you went to like a family gathering, right? Like, just like a huge family gathering, right? The amount of simping is unmitigated. They look at me like I'm crazy, right? And yet they admit to everything I'm talking about, right? Whether it be female nature, whatever. And do you ever notice guys always kowtow, right? Yeah, we gotta buy him flowers. Yeah, I mean, a man's job is to shut up. Shut up. I'm not allowing any of it.
Man.
You been in that position recently, RPM?
I'm not really close to my family like that. But I could definitely say just in general viewing of the public, yeah. A lot of these guys out here are so noodle backed. It's just ridiculous. It used to be sad for me to watch guys like this, but now it's my number one source of entertainment.
You know what the best part is, though, as I'm sitting here watching them, right? I'm just kind of like looking at their actions and reactions and all this stuff. And I always think to myself, where has this gotten you, right? Where is this line of, where's this simp line of thought? Where has it gotten you? RPM, it's hopeless. It's over, bro. I kid you not. We could talk about, the declining marriage rate, the declining birth rate. Trust me, for every red pill guy, I'm trying to think of what's a rough number of simps. Like, RPM, what do you think? Like rough number of blue pill simps to every one red pill man. What do you think it is?
At minimum, 100,000.
I agree. 100,000, somewhere between 50 to 150,000 to every red pill guy. Now remember, when I say red pill, RPM, I'm referring to actual red pill, not dudes who claim to be red pill, but are looking for a unicorn, guys who claim to be red pill, but yet they're one hand job or blow job away from the plantation, right? We're talking about guys who are truly red pill and have receipts, right?
Yep.
There's as many red pill people per 100,000 as people who died of coronavirus.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I can make that a fair assessment.
So what's more dangerous?
Yeah.
What's more dangerous?
Yeah, the blue pill or the coronavirus.
The blue
pill's
pill.
far more. But I would, RPM, being over there today made me realize that there was a guy there, black dude, right? Cool brother too. Like he was a cool dude, right? But what ends up happening is when you see men trying to shame you with the same thing that that women would shame you with about, being alone or what happens when you get old, Drex, are you still going to try to live that life? But RPM, let me ask you something. Think about all the old people that you know. what's their life like? They get no peace leave, no respect, no nothing, right? They're basically roommates with the other person, right?
Yep. They're miserable.
Miserable. So what are they? So that's what you want to. Look, RPM. I can't speak for the next man. I would rather be Hugh Hefner. I'd rather be the guy who's sitting there smashing hoes, right, into my 70s, 80s. I would rather that than to sit there and say, yeah, you know what, man? I got my wife right here. She's my backbone. She's been with me through thick and thin. But yeah, more on the thick part, right?
No, more on the obese part in the majority of cases. I mean, I used to be that guy. I used to be that guy. I was treaded down, but I never spoke the words "happy wife, happy life." I never got that far.
But
But
do you think that's the point where it's too late?
in my humble opinion, once a man says "happy wife, happy life," he's too far gone. He can't come back. It will take something major, i.e., a divorce rate from all hell. The dog gets terminated if he's got one. If he's got a classic car, that's got to be burned out and compacted. He has to hit absolute rock bottom. I mean, one notch above complete homelessness before maybe possibly it might kick in. However, even if that does happen, we've been trained to blame ourselves for not being enough. And that's the insidious part about all of it.
Agreed. I'm glad you brought that up, RPM, because I'll tell you something that I've noticed. I don't know if you what you do for comedy, for comedic relief, but I like to go on female dating strategies, right? And you will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy than female dating strategies.
Oof.
And they project everything. Everything that you just said, they say. Everything. Ladies, we tend to blame ourselves. I have never heard a woman once in her life say she was to blame for literally anything. Never. Look, RPM, in your lifetime, has a girl ever said I was the reason why I broke up with my last boyfriend, right? Because something I did.
Well, let's see. In America, no.
In America. Yep.
In America, no. Now, since I did spend close to 10 years in Japan, a Japanese woman will actually take some accountability. Not this new breed of Japanese women,
Oh, okay.
but I'm just talking about in the past. A woman would own up and say, yeah, I screwed my relationship up.
Wow.
But that was a different time. Different
Japan's
time.
a weird place.
Yeah, different time, different breed of women. So, but this new batch that's out, oh no, they're just as bad as American women.
Oh, yeah. For people, RPM, for people who haven't heard of you before, what are you all about? Because so you created the hockey mask time videos, which both I'm a new fan of now, and Drexel's been a fan of for some time. How did that come about? How did you think up of the of making this video series?
Well, TFM actually came up with the name Hockey Mask Time, but his version was more so of a societal hockey mask time when men just finally snapped off and went ape shit. So I kind of just scaled it down to, what happens if an individual man decides, you know what, he's going to snap out and take out the person that's causing him the most grief, which tends to be the woman in his life. So that's where it all came in.
And you're up to like 160 some of these videos, right? So this is not something that happens, once a year in the US. You've got a lot of source material to work with.
Oh yeah, I'm constantly getting articles. One of my primary guys is Neo, the Outflanker. I've already got at minimum 30 other articles that I haven't even touched yet.
So I wanted to tell this story. This is a little funny story. So when my dad, so I'm Native American on my dad, and my dad's side is responsible for that. He's his whole family's Native American, and they are treated differently in divorce court. Now, they'll, just like any divorce court, right, they'll lose. The problem is enforcing it because of the way that policing is done up here in Canada with regards to Native people. So my dad lost his house in his divorce with his first wife. And the court, white judge, ordered that he give up half the house, the value, to his ex-wife. So my father pulls out a chainsaw and literally cut the house in half.
There was a German guy who did that.
Literally cut the fucking thing in half and told her, there's your half, take it.
Yep.
It's like I said, it didn't end up with him using a chainsaw on his ex-wife, but that's as close as I get to a hockey mask story.
To me, that's good enough.
There was actually a guy in, I think, Britain or England, whatever, pick your poison. He actually blew his house up. Oh, because shit. the court was going to give it to his ex-wife, so he blew it up. Uh-huh. And I actually did a story about a guy in South Africa who bought his girlfriend a house, and once she broke up with him, he literally had a contractor bulldoze it to the ground.
I saw that. That was about 3 months ago, right? O'Shea Duke Jackson made a video about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, it's so savage. So RPM, let me ask you this. What is the tipping point, do you think, when like okay, more and more guys are going to hear about this, right? Like, I don't know if you heard about Jay Cutler, but Jay Cutler is in the midst of divorce, right?
I covered his article Friday.
Oh, I missed it. I've been busy. I was doing a live stream or a live chat.
It was called Jay Cutler Deserves Half, and it's got a picture. The thumbnail is Bugs Bunny, and the saying is, "Ain't no fun when the rabbit's got the gun." Oh yeah,
it's true, man. I think it's beautiful because here's to give you an insight to just how big of a deal this is, right? If you were to ask about Jay Cutler, I would say, let's say 1 year ago, right? A year ago. Most people, because of his playing days, right? They weren't Jay Cutler fans, right? A lot of guys just didn't like the way he played. He had the talent. It was the attitude, right? It was always the attitude with him.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember looking at Jay Cutler going like, he's another talent. He's an arm, right? He knows the game. He has the arm. He just doesn't put it all together, right? Fair enough. So his career ends. He retires from Chicago Bears, right? Okay, good for him. Something changed literally overnight. Have you seen the comments regarding Jay Cutler going for half from the dudes?
Oh yeah, they're all behind it.
They're like, get that bag, King.
Mm-hmm.
Overnight, Jay Cutler went from being like a punchline to a person of that was contingent. That is something that does give me a glimmer of I don't know if it'd be hope, but it is kind of a glimmer of hope in the sense that here we have a guy who is sitting there, and he didn't have the best reputation with men in general, right? The men of the United States weren't big Jay Cutler fans. All of a sudden, dudes for what I'm starting to see is they're starting to rally behind. Because remember, before, you remember this, RPM, if we were to ask, how was Kevin Federline viewed at the time by men? He was still getting shaming language, right?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that, right? Because a lot of dudes are like, hold up, man. Because and part of that was because Brittany was like mentally, going through the ringer at that time, right? Shaving her head, acting and looking crazy.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, it just changed. It was like, and think about it, that Brittany thing, that wasn't that long ago. Was that even 15 years ago?
Nope.
I don't think it was, right? It was like, I remember it was like some Super Bowl-ish time. It wasn't that long ago with the whole Brittany and Kevin Federline thing. Fast forward to today, and Jay Cutler is getting an overwhelming amount of support from, as Female Dating Strategies calls us, the scrotes. The scrotes.
I got another name to throw out there for you. Clindu Isaacs.
Yep, Mary J. Blige's guy. But you know what, though? I will say this, though. Here's where guys have to take away. This is what guys need to learn from women. The sisterhood is always okay with seeing a man be destroyed, right?
Yep.
This is the one flaw that guys have. If guys like the female, they tend to not be so okay with seeing her be harmed. So in the black community, a lot of guys grew up with Mary J. Blige, right? They listen to her music.
Yep.
She was a guest on a lot of rap songs. What's the 411? A lot of guys have a lot. She's considered the queen of hip hop soul, right? They love Mary
Yep.
J. So when they heard about Kendu IX, a lot of dudes like, yeah, man, I ain't really cool with that, man. Like guys weren't feeling that. See, that's where it needs to change. Here's the thing. If you really like Mary J. Blige, we can all say, yo, Mary, on a music level, you're my girl. We love you. But since you're in this courtroom, and if it were the other way around, women would be destroying us. Get that bag, King. Oh, and RPM, did you ever see his divorce demands? Did you ever see it? Oh, yeah. It was epic. He was demanding, let's see, what was it? It was like $5,000 or something for a chef. And then the food, yeah, for the food. The food was going to cost like $5,000, and then the chef was going to cost, I don't know, like 10,000 or something, right? And so I saw that. Remember, he wanted her to pay child support for his other kids, right? I loved it. I loved it because I'm like, isn't this what they do, right? They do it all the time. RPM, we're gonna get to that point where guys finally say, "Fuck it." It's the Deadpool moment, right? He goes, "So it finally happened. You reached fuck it."
Mm-hmm.
I love hearing HMT videos. RPM, that's actually how I introduced a lot of people to your show. I said, I said HMT. They go, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Hockey mask time." They kind of looked at me like, "Hockey mask?" I'm like, "Yeah, you've seen Friday the 13th, right?" And they all like, "Oh, yeah. So what do you think of hockey mask?" They kind of go like, they stop, they pause. They're like, "Oh, you mean like yeeting somebody?" I said, no, not just doing it. You got to go, let's go to the scorecard, shall we? And they kind of give me this RPM. They tilt their head like, wait, what did you just say? A scorecard? And I introduce them to your videos, right? And they eat it up, man. They love it. Real content creators like yourself need to get more press, because like, no disrespect to like the Kevin Samuels of the world and stuff, but there are certain guys that need a lot more exposure, right? You, LOM, Joker, a better bachelor, right? Great content creator. He went through an article today. I don't know if you heard about this, but this is a different level of crazy. Is that he put the title is "Women Reach a New Level of Desperation, Marrying Guy Friends." So guys in the friend zone, right? No sex, right?
Really?
Just friends marriage. Let that sink in.
Well, that sounds like something I should definitely look up and put my take on.
Oh, it's bad. It says they're reaching a new level of desperate or whatever, right? And it's really true. I'm starting to see some things out there, just kind of like in the manosphere, just kind of seeing what things are happening. And as this summer comes up, right? We got Thought Girl Summer coming up, right? And RPM, the desperate, like, I'm actually seeing women resign to the fact that it's over. I don't know if you've been seeing that or been hearing that. Like, you know what I'm talking about? We're talking about like in terms of like dating, marriage. Like, they're starting to like finally figure like, oh, it's over. Like, I can't get a guy. Not the guy. Not even not even their first choice. Not their second. Maybe not even their third choice. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you been? What do you think about that, RPM? Out in where you're at, are you starting to see women kind of say certain things or give a certain exasperated look? What are you seeing out there?
Okay, well. Even though a lot of women know my personal deal, I've still had women shoot their shot at me, knowing that I still got a full wife and kids.
Oh yeah, that's what we like to hear.
And even at the gym, since the gyms open back up and I started going back, I've had women, say, "Hey, is it possible?" Nope, I don't shit where I eat. You're a gym associate. That's it. That's as far as you can go. And besides, why would I need a woman in my life anyway? Thanks, but no thanks. I'm not that guy. Yes, women are getting to the point that they are starting to shoot shots at men. And with this rent moratorium set to end at the end of the month,
There's gonna be a lot of bitches hitting up OnlyFans.
mhm,
Oh, this is
yeah.
beautiful.
We were talking about this in the live stream, right, Drex? RPM,
Yep.
you ever get this text before? Hey, stranger.
No, I've never gotten that text.
There's a lot of that going around.
Granted, the meat sack, has been trying to be a little bit nicer, but
Aw.
I wonder why.
I know why. But she lives in her own place, and I live in my own place. So I'm like, you stay your ass over there. I'm gonna stay my ass over here. I'm cool.
RPM, you did something. I remember listening to a video of yours. This must have been about a year and a half ago. I'll never forget it. You had a video wherein you said the meat sack thought she could, this is after you guys were, kind of doing your own thing, right? The meat sack thought she could use you for what women need men for, which is everything, right? Everything but reproduction. So she tried to use you to move. And then you hit her with a price tag.
Yeah.
Can you explain that story so these guys out here understand?
Okay. So right before the lockdowns, we had come to the conclusion that, well, let's go a little bit beyond that. We were going to move into another place, but she said something that instantly set me off. She told me that, yeah, we can all move together, but you need to pay a certain percentage of the rent. And if you don't, then I'm going to kick you out. And I said, oh, really? You out your fucking mind. We're going to move into separate places. So she was like, well, okay. So then, right before the lockdowns happened, we both had our move-in dates set. And she asked me, could I help her move? And I said, here is the quote for a moving company. So you got two options. Either you can wait for them to move you, or I can move you, but I'm going to charge you for it. Half up front, half upon completion of said moving. To which she reluctantly agreed. So I made my money. And she was like, why would you charge me to move? I said, well, it's quite simple. My time is valuable. You don't get any free things from me anymore. We're not like that. So it's all business. Pretty much end of.
You can see the meltdown on r/female dating strategies right now. Drex, that place is almost as much of a national treasure as Gale is.
Almost.
Almost.
You know what, though? Here's one of the things that I love, RPM. This is something that is really causing me to smile at night with an erection, is hearing these broads dive into male spaces and think they're going to infiltrate, right? Because I love it.
I've said 100 times. If you want to be up to your eyeballs in women, just put up a sign that says "No women allowed."
Pretty much.
As soon as they think that there's a place where they're not included, they will include themselves. They will invite themselves to the party. Oh, there's a party going on here. No women allowed. Well, I'm allowed, right?
well, RPM. Here's the thing. The funniest thing was I had a guy. We had done the video. Tim and I finished the video. It was 2 videos ago, and there was a guy saying like, "Yeah, man, the MRAs were infiltrated. I don't like that there's women around, right? Because I actually put women on this channel quite often, right? And he didn't see what I see, right? Like I don't let women in per se, but you know what I do? I want your take on this. Dollhouse Phil and I talk about this, RPM. The only way to know if a guy is truly red pill, right? If he's truly an ally, is not to put him around a bunch of guys who claim to be red pill. It's to put him around attractive women, Wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't you agree
Yep.
that women are the ultimate litmus test to whether or not you are truly red pill?
Yep.
That's what I was trying to explain to this guy. I said, dude, if you guys don't understand how important women are, they are extremely important. Because if you sit there and think like, oh yeah, RPM, he's my bro. How many times have you seen a guy throw away a friendship over pussy?
Whoo.
You thought you were boys, right? Remember bros over hoes? These guys don't follow the rules, do they?
Nope.
See? So RPM, you thought that person was a friend, right? Until you realize, oh, so you would trade out our friendship. You would slide into, if you had a girlfriend, you slid into my girl's DMs. Shout out to my man Leximus, right? There are dudes sliding you and I claim to be boys, right? Here I am sliding to your girlfriend or your wife's DMs. Let that sink in, right? You can do better. See? You need women around. Remember, I always tell this. You need women on a peripheral level. So you don't put them as part of the manosphere. This is where people get it confused. Don't think for a second that I want women to be part of the manosphere, right? What I mean is you need them in a peripheral manner as almost like a natural filter, right? A lot of guys claim to be X, Y. You and I both know this, RPM. There's a lot of incels who claim to be red pill, right?
Yep.
Now, are they really red pill?
Even though personally, I still don't subscribe to the whole incel thing because
I agree. Money. If you got money,
we know
in your pocket.
we know what their true motivation is.
Yep.
And so it's like, no, you're not an incel. You're pretty much like you set your standards and your fantasy so high that you can't attain it.
Yep.
Which ironically leads to something that I'm going to make a video about. Something that I've been mulling over as of late. Why being rejected by the modern woman is absolutely the best thing for a man in this day and age.
I agree completely. Because at the end of the day, think about it like this. You get rejected. What did you gain, right? Don't worry about what you lost, right? Because a modern simp thinks to themselves, RPM, I lost so much, man. I wanted this family and I wanted all X, Y, and Z, right? That's what they're thinking, how much they lost. You and I both know the truth. He gained everything. He gained his freedom.
Mm-hmm.
He gained his peace of mind. He gained his money, his assets.
Half his money.
All of it. He gained all of it. Because from the simp's perspective, their entire, and same with the PUA and the bitch made simp both view they get their validation. They're the female validation, right? Is how they measure how much of a man they are, right? So if a guy doesn't get any, he feels that he's not a man, i.e. Elliot Rodger, right? If a PUA sits there and says, hey, RPM, you're not a real man unless you're smashing these 49ers, as Coach Greg Adams says, right? RPM, let's face facts. Most guys, that's the best they're getting, right? The best.
Yep.
The average guy is getting is a 49er, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I find unique about that is, as you kind of look, Kevin Samuels has kind of proven this, because Kevin Samuels has basically single-handedly destroyed Black female YouTube. Single-handedly. He single-handedly eradicated them.
The funny thing about his last video about 007, he actually told essentially black men to either go their own way or save themselves without saying it.
Oh, I missed that
really,
one.
Yeah, if you really listen to it, one of the things that he says is cut these types of women out of your life, which, i.e., if you're in a situation with a bunch of bad women, go your own way, save yourself. He said it without saying it, and I caught it.
You know what? I got a question for you. How long do you think even the Kevin Samuels of the world, because I don't know if you ever knew this, but Rebecca Lynn Pope was a female
dating. She was a female matchmaker.
Matchmaker, that's the word. So Rebecca Lynn Pope was a female matchmaker. You heard the reason why she eventually quit, right?
Yep.
Women's standards were so out of control, right? So unrealistic. She just said, this is
Mm-hmm.
pointless. This is a fruitless endeavor. You've never heard anyone say men's standards were out of control, right?
Mm-hmm.
Men are realistic. Like RPM, you know this. You think about most guys, right? Even high value guys, they don't say a woman has to be perfect. And and one thing that they will say, they never say that a woman should be contradictory things, right? Like you won't hear a guy say she has to be a virgin and a porn star all in one by the time she comes to me. That doesn't even make sense, right? You see what I'm saying? But black women in particular, because that's not possible. You can't be a virgin and a porn star in one. Now you can turn a virgin into your personal porn star, which is the idea.
Yeah.
That's what all men want, right? But the idea that she's
Mm-hmm.
going to come ready made, whereas women, on the other hand, go like this: RPM, he got to have swag, he got to be a thug, he got to bust guns, but he's also got to be a 9 to 5 intellectual. Wait, what? What? How are you working 9 to 5 and you're in the streets?
No, not even the 9 to 5. You got to be the CEO.
True. Yeah, they believe that every guy should be running some Fortune 500 company. I was like, first of all, if let's just say for the sake of argument, everyone, this is from the black female perspective, every black man, or if they're swirling white man, is running a Fortune 500 company. That means that there's only 500 males who fit their standard out of 7.8 billion people on planet Earth, right?
And
You see how insane that sounds?
And then comes the knockout question.
What do you bring to the table?
If I fit all of these criteria that you want me to fit, why would I choose you?
Yep.
It's like they want the quote unquote loyal alpha.
Yeah, which is a fantasy. Oh, dude, I literally just had that happen. I actually talked about it. I actually shared the text messages I got from a gal in Dallas who actually talked about that, right? Like she wants a young, hung, loyal alpha. She's gonna be like a sugar mama, but she wants exclusivity. I said that's insane. That's stupid. And you know what's funny? Have you ever like broken it down to the molecule with these modern females? And once you break it down to them, they admit that it's stupid, right? They're like, okay, that makes sense. Because when you say something like, "Hey, why isn't Leo DiCaprio married?" Right? And then what do they say? Oh, well, I mean, Leo DiCaprio always has a new model. Oh, and then you can see him realize like, oh, so if he can just smash endless models, why would he get married, right? And then it hits him. I go, so the man you just described, all women want, right? That's why when I get that question, I was like, you have to understand the lifestyle. You reach a certain point where you're like, well, if I can just smash broads, why would I like RPM? They offer nothing else. Because when you ask women, hey, can you cook? Especially white women, the answer is no. No, white women can't cook. And if they do, it's not food that has any flavor that a black or Latino would want. So they can't cook. They can't clean. So the only thing they can offer really is bedroom fun, right? Nothing else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so RPM, imagine this. Imagine a woman trying to sell you on happily ever after, which means you're buying the house, right? She's going to move in with you, spend up your money, make sure you get the missus a car, right? And she's going to give you kids that you're going to pay 100% of the expenses for, blah, 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 right? And all you're getting out of the deal is sex. That's it. That's the extent of your relationship. Like, man, isn't this a great deal? Women are excellent saleswomen. You know what? RPM, they don't get enough credit for that. They don't. So you have a whole half of a species who offers little to no value at all for a man, right? She's not an asset to your life. Yet, guys are signing the marriage contract still in 2021, right? How is this a thing?
Yeah.
How is this a thing?
We have failed as a society.
Oh,
We let them down, Drex. You know what? The failure is on us. We let them down because we didn't get to them and give them that red pill suppository in time.
Yeah, well, one of the first problems is this. If we're to really be honest, if you were to ask a lot of men, right? Let's look at RPM, right? So RPM is older than me. RPM, do you remember your days growing up in elementary school and middle school? How many male teachers do you remember having?
Oh, I had a lot of male teachers and a male principal.
Yep. Now, if you go to a school today, right? Go to a school today, elementary, middle school. How many male teachers do you see?
Besides possibly the PE teacher, none.
None. That's it.
Does it count if they're either flaming homosexuals?
And I was about to
or
say, okay,
raging
masculine
pedophiles?
masculine men. They have to be masculine heterosexual men, right?
Yeah, pretty much besides the PE teacher, none.
None.
And hell, some of the principals and some of the other male teachers, they tend to have a little sugar in the tank. They don't. And one of the best ways that I do is when I shake a man's hand, if his grip ain't firm, I was like, oh, okay, yep.
You already know he's Johnny Storm. There's a whole lot of human torches out here running around and flaming on whenever it's time to simp, right? Like you say something about women, flame on, and here he goes simping, right? He puts on the cape. He has to go simp. We got guys like Bitch Made Q. We got guys. I don't know if you heard about Ringo TV. You know who that is? Black YouTuber.
Yeah.
And he's one of these guys that's been flip flopping, right? Before women, he was calling women the succubus, right? The succubi. Now all of a sudden he's shaming brothers out here, right? I keep telling guys, this is why you need women around the manosphere, not in the manosphere, but around it. I put someone but Ringo Starr. No, there's a guy named Ringo Raw. Ringo Raw. I think it's like Ringo TV Raw or something. And he's a black dude. I think he's in New York, but his whole message has flipped. And when you start seeing guys do that, it sounds like they're grifting, right? Because RPM, if someone looks at your old videos, they're getting RPM all the way through. They're not getting a guy who claims to be one thing and then 6 months later, RPM is making these kind of videos. 6 months later, he's making these kind of videos. See, that's when I am suspicious of you. You see what I'm saying? You're suspicious of a man who starts like imagine this, RPM. Imagine you and I doing collaborations together. And we say 2 years ago, guys, you guys need to man up and get married. Man up and get married. Man up and get married. And then we flip and start saying, check the red pill, these bitches ain't shit. And then a year later, what do? We start saying, guys, we really need to do what Dr. Boyce Watkins said, and a real man takes care of single moms.
That raggedy motherfucker.
Boyce Watkins. You know what? He's a doctor of simps. PhD simp. Player hating dickhead.
I mean, I'm a stepdad. However, I told my son, never take on a woman with kids. I told him that in front of his mother.
Yep.
And she was like, why would you tell him that? I said, listen, the times have changed. Back when we got married, it was actually an honorable thing for a man to be a stepdad, and the woman would be more appreciative.
Not no more.
However, that's not the way things are nowadays. And as a matter of fact, you're the perfect litmus test.
Mm-hmm.
One day, you and I, and this was back before we had any problems, I said, one day, you and I are going to have a major falling out, which we might end up getting divorced or separate. Something bad might happen. And she was like, no, that's never going to happen. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, sure. Only time will tell. And here we are. Talk about a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yep.
One of the easiest ways to spot a simp is when they go on Facebook and they say stuff like, I'm not a stepdad, I stepped up.
Yeah, that's what Bitch Made Q said. So we have people like Q who talked about how his simp of a stepfather, a cuck, he took care of another man's cream pie, and I'm not taking care of none of these bitches' cream pies. Okay, because you let a dude skeet up in you bareback, don't think I'm going to be here to take care of your damn kid. No, the only thing that these single moms are good for is late night bust downs, right? Single moms, look for hookup culture. I can tell you right now. Cheating wives and single moms are the absolute best of the best in hookup culture. If you just need a quick nut. Absolutely. Yes. Now, relationship, don't do it. Just don't do it. It'll be one of the worst decisions you ever make. RPM, I don't know if you ever heard that story where the stepfather realized he was just the beta bucks right before, I believe it was the girl's wedding, right? He called it off.
I actually
story?
covered that article.
Yep. Because more and more guys are realizing that, right? They're sitting there like, wait a minute.
And the most fucked up part about that article was the fact that she actually had her biological dad walk her down the aisle, and he was not even there.
Her whole life.
I'm like, wow.
Yep. No respect. When you are a stepfather, right? You get zero respect from the biological kid. Now, the only way that's not the case, and here's the only way, is if you were there, like when the kid was between 0 to maybe, let's say 2, right? Maybe it's a little different. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But if you came in the picture at like 9 years old or 11, and then you stepped up, oh no, that kid will always view you as, oh, you're just the guy that pays the bills that mom, I guess, found, right? You're just some guy. Because think about it, he doesn't call you dad. Most stepkids do not refer to their stepfather as dad. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Luckily, my stepkids, from my oldest son, he was 6, and my daughter was like 1 when we all got together. So, and their biological father, they completely wiped their hands of him.
Oh wow!
But I told him, I said, look, I'm not going to stand in the way. If y'all want to go find him and make peace with him, do it. Especially once you turn 18. I got nothing. I'm not going to be in y'all's way. So they made their choice. When my son turned 18, he made his choice. When my daughter turned 18, she made her choice. And,
nice.
Dear old dad is dear old dad regardless. So, but I still would not recommend any man being a stepdad. Even though I would consider my case a best case scenario, I still would say, nah, fuck them kids.
I've said it numerous times. Look, when you for all the brothers out there late night creeping, right? Who just want to go ahead and they want a late night creep at 11, 13 p.m. and smash a single mom, do that shit. Don't leave no snacks. Don't bring any presents. Don't bring a extra Nintendo Switch. Man, fuck these kids. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is the mentality, because RPM, let's be honest. If there were no stepdads available, right? None, 0. You know what's funny? I will never forget your video that you made about what's happening in Japan. And you said one of the reasons why the market is collapsing so much in Japan is for one reason only. The lack of black men, right? Because black men are the ultimate cleanup men. Black men will clean up any ethnic group's mess. Oh, she's fat? Doesn't matter. She's fat and not black. Oh, she's a single mom? Doesn't matter. She's a single mom and not black. Black men will step in there and take any ethnic group's leftovers and be proud of it. But in Japan, due to it being primarily an ethno state and there's xenophobia, there's not too many cleanup men out there. So conversely, what do we have, RPM? We have an oversaturation of single moms, right? I mean, not single moms, just single women, period, right? Single women in Japan. So now, like, when they age out, and in Asian culture, they prioritize youth, right? They really prioritize it. So once you hit 27 in China and Japan, game over. Now in America, a black guy gets a white chick who's 33, he's happy, right? He's happy. See? By taking the black man out of any dating pool on this earth, the system will correct itself. Black men are the worst of the worst when it comes to taking up other groups' leftovers. Oh, we're horrible.
As a matter of fact, Obsidian said something many, many years ago, and it's something that stuck with me. And he says he called us black men basically the swords of mercy for a lot of women. If not for us, a lot of women would literally be alone.
Correct. True facts. Because here's the thing, you and I both know, RPM, a lot of these, let's use white women because they're the most prevalent in America. A lot of white women after their divorce or after they became single moms, right? Because they went to the family court, right? A lot of them wind up finding a black guy later in life. That's why you'll always see a black guy dealing with a white chick, but her kids are white, which means she was married to a white guy, or at least had kids by a white guy, right? And like you were saying with what Obsidian's saying, black men are the ultimate safety net. Now let's consider for a fact. Let's just say black men and men in general just picked RPM. Let's just say two standards, right? Let's just say two standards that men in general could pick, and this definitely includes black men because black men were cursed with black women. If black men just took two standards, do you know that 98% of women wouldn't live up? So watch this, RPM. She has to be in shape. How many women do we just eliminate? How many women do we eliminate?
Oh man,
in shape. Because remember, the average American woman is 170.6 pounds at just below 5'4". That is the average woman's size in America, right? So if a guy says in shape, he basically eliminated. What do you think, RPM? At least 80%.
Yeah.
Watch this. In shape and a virgin. How many do you eliminate?
100%.
Done. That's it. He can just say, here's the thing, because if you say virgin, you'll still end up with a whole lot of fatties, right? Like there's a lot of horrendous looking fat chicks who are fat and ugly, and they had to become lesbians, right? And RPM, that doesn't get talked about enough in the manosphere, is the rise of lesbianism. Now, lesbianism is about to collapse because lesbianism, like anorexia and bulimia and these fake eating disorders, which only affect white women, they aren't real.
Yeah, I mean, hell, when you had Tess Holliday come out and say that she was anorexic, I'm like, what?
Anorexia is losing the battle, man. Look, anorexia has taken an L on Tess. Now, I thought anorexia killed bitches. I thought all of that all my life, RPM, until I saw that Tess Holliday is anorexic. And I said, I don't know what happened. Anorexia must have gone ahead and gone on strike because it is not eating up any pounds on this big bitch. You saw the rolls, right? Now, RPM. Let's keep it a buck right here on Migtown Podcast, right? Let's be honest. How many brothers right now would slide into Tess's DMs? Be honest.
Oh my God! I shudder to think. I mean, she's got 2 kids.
No, it's not 0.
Well, RPM, has that ever stopped black men? Single moms?
No.
Has that ever stopped them?
No. Just no. We got to keep it a buck, but no.
RPM, I can't be around black dudes, man. I really can't.
I can't either.
I can't stomach them. I don't like being around black men ever. They're less than useless because they will accept anything.
Yeah, I mean, I only got 2 close friends, and they were both Navy buddies for over 15, almost 20 years. And one's married, of course, to a Japanese woman, and the other guy's single. So I shoot him at red pills every now and then, and he's receptive. But other than that, nah, I keep all the other brothers at a 2-arm distance. It's like, nah, player, you stay over there. Man, speaking of black men and how weak we truly show the world we are. What do you think of the black men that came out and put on bonnets in support of black women wearing bonnets that got critiqued by Monique?
I heard about that. You know what? I'm glad. Now, I don't know about you, RPM, but see, I am a huge fan of feminism. And the reason I'm a fan is because by letting women get the option of the feminist Kool-Aid, you expose who's a feminist or not, right? So similarly, I view the same thing with this. When black men come out wearing bonnets, right? Okay, you just prove who's a bitch made simp. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So don't be mad. Listen, anytime if a black dude gets up and starts putting on the cape, he has to be Captain Savaho for these ratchet ass ran through demonic fucking creatures, right? These fee-fails, as Black Ram 313 calls them, right? Fee-fails. when they get up in solidarity, RPM, we should be rejoicing. You see what I'm saying?
Hey,
Because you're like, oh, you're one of them.
I believe in I wholeheartedly believe in Napoleon's saying, never stop an enemy from making a mistake.
Never. Because Sun Tzu, he got that saying from Sun Tzu when when the enemy is destroying themselves, don't interrupt them, right? And
Hmm.
one of the things that a lot of conquerors throughout history learned is that, and I talked about this in one of the shows, RPM. I said throughout history, women were the best spies, not men. There's a reason for that. Because RPM, if you want to get information on your enemy, you wouldn't send a man, right?
Yeah, you got to send a woman because of pillow talk.
Pillow talk, the honeypot. God bless all of you women out there who have been spies for me, right? Like, I'll give a prime example of female spies that I've had in my lifetime. RPM. I grew up in white suburbia. Went to school in the cities, played ball with the city kids and stuff, right? But I was in the burbs. I always lived in the burbs, right? And there
Hmm.
were, how the burbs are. There's a lot of virtue signaling, right? And if you listen to the all the white people in the suburbs, not one of them is racist, right? According to them, right? Do you know what all the white
Yeah.
women came back telling me, RPM? What their fathers were saying, brothers were saying, uncles were saying, grandfathers saying? What do you think they were saying?
Better not bring that black guy in this house.
That's right. See, for all those guys out there that's not me. And in RPM, I'll never forget this, man. I was at work and someone tried to use that whole I'm not racist shit. And I said, listen, you can't play me because I've seen too much. You say you're not racist, but when a guy who looks like me shows up for your daughter, all of a sudden the shit changes, right? Your tune changes, right? And that's uncomfortable for a lot of people. But now let's be fair. The same thing is true the other way around. You're not going to see too many black fathers happy if their black daughter brings home a white dude. It is what it is, right? This is where men keep failing. Why do dudes care so much? Okay? She belongs to the streets. These guys out here in RPM, with cuck porn, a lot of times it's black males being the bulls. Although, according to some certain infiltrators that I know, they say that now there's black cucks. I don't know if you knew about that, man, but we got black cucks out here now.
Really?
That's news to me. I've never seen it once in my whole life, man. I've been deep in 15 years. I never saw it once, but apparently it's a thing, man. I'm sad to say, but one of the things that notice.
hell, you got dudes getting ran up the ass with a fucking strap on. So nothing surprises me anymore.
Oh, you know what? We just did a show about that. Becca the Ass Record. So here's what happened. RPM, major Fortune 500 company, an active manager was sending pictures and requesting women to smash him in the ass. Right? He wanted a dominant woman, right? Because that's how bitch made these dudes are. So what ended up happening is I did a show about it because I said, listen, this is a growing trend. Like, there's a lot of dudes out there who want some suspect play, right? Whether it be with women or men or trannies, right? It is what it is. So I asked Becca the Ass Record to come on and say, I want you to tell these people out here, who are you smashing with these strap-ons? And she kept it real, RPM. It's more dudes than you think.
Wow.
More than you think are sliding her DMs wanting to get ass banged. You see what I'm saying?
And yet I'm the pervert for having a sex doll. Or excuse me,
Right?
a companion doll.
The projection is real. We have to deal with it in the black community because the black community has the most simps. Indians have the worst simps. And I've been out in California. Oh, man. RP, let me ask you this. You're in California, and I know you've talked about being up in Northern Cal before. Not that you live there, but you've talked about being up there. Let me ask you this. What is your opinion on the Indian simps and in two ways, how they worship white women and how hard they simp in general?
Ooh. Wow. White women worship via Indian man. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would definitely say they're about a 12 in that area.
Yeah, buddy.
Now, Indians, I have to give them redemption where redemption is worthy. They are some of the most brutal motherfuckers to put the mask on.
I'll get facts. No, hold on, RPM. Let's be honest. Let's be honest, because there's people out there who don't fully understand HMT, right? HMT is not what red pill guys do. You see what I'm saying?
It is.
So
That
it's
is
blue
what
pill
happens
guys.
when the blue pill man goes over the edge.
Correct. Because as you know, when red pill guys, when they find out their girl is cheating, they just go like this: I'll just charge that hoe to the fucking game. You see what I'm saying? They just charge her.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. In fact, do you know where you see this at? Star Wars. Now I want you to look at this. Han Solo is Chad, right? I'm going to do a video just on how Chad's Han Solo is, right? He ended up getting a princess when he was in a piece of shit Millennium Falcon that she literally said, "You came in that thing, you're braver than I thought." He landed a princess, right? And do you remember what happened in Return of the Jedi when Han Solo turns to Leia after the second Death Star explodes? He goes, "I'm sure Luke wasn't on that thing when it blew, right?" And she said, do you remember her response? She goes, "He wasn't. I can feel it." Han then says, "You love him, don't you?" She goes, "Well, yes." And before she could finish, she goes, "I understand. Got it. When he comes back, I won't get in the way." And then Leia tells Han, no, it's not like that at all. He's my brother, right? So notice, now watch this. Han was willing to walk away if Luke came and he was going to be the better man, right? For her. He was going to like, yo, I'm going to bounce and just do what I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Travel the galaxy and smash bitches and get money, right? Compare that to Anakin Skywalker, right? The ultimate simp, right?
Oh man.
Why does he become Darth Vader? Because he's the ultimate simp. Fear, right? Padme, I can't live without her. Yeah, you can, bro. You did fine without her before. You can do fine without her now, right? He sold his soul for Padme, and she ends up dying anyway because of him, right? And then he ends up getting all of his limbs chopped off and burnt to a crisp and put into the iron lung, right?
Yeah, talk about another self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, loved it. Now, RPM, wouldn't you describe, especially for those of you out there listening who know about like the expanded universe kind of delves into how that suit feels for Anakin, right? After episode 3, when he's been burnt up and he puts it talks about the novelization talks about how much he detests that suit, right? RPM, would you say that is analogous to the modern day simp, right? They don't have arms, they don't have legs, they don't have a penis because it's all been cut off or burnt off, right? And they're in an iron lung, and they're on, in this case, Palpatine, right? Palpatine represents the feminine, not the masculine. And here they are, RPM, doing whatever the missus says, right? Happy wife, happy life, right? They're just a pawn. And you are in the epicenter of simping, California. You call it Cuckafornia for good fucking reason. And let me ask you this, RPM. How much of the cuckold lifestyle have you just either known about or kind of like, stumbled across?
Well, the actual cuckold lifestyle, I would say I have not stumbled across, but insofar as the actions of men when I see them with their wives or girlfriends, it's the mental cuckage that is why I call this place Cuckafornia. So I haven't seen the legit actual actions of it. It's just the mentality. It's always, these guys, you see guys 6'5" and the girl would be like 5'2" and she's bossing them around. And it's like, you do realize this dude could literally pick you up by your scruff and just like toss you into a wall.
Yep. But he won't.
But he won't. He won't. He won't even end the relationship.
Nope.
I mean,
but you know what he will do? He will go after the other man, hook, line, and sinker. He's gonna go all in, right? If he finds her cheating, he doesn't get mad at her at all, right? He goes after the other dude with brutal intention, right?
Yeah.
Let that sink in. You're not gonna go after her. You go after the other guy, who may not even know she was married.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bitch made these dudes are. And RPM, we're talking about California. I have a question for you. We talked about this before the show started. We'll make sure that we get that. The topic of possible governor Caitlyn Jenner. I got a question for you. How do Californians feel about Caitlyn, and what do you think Caitlyn's chances are?
Oh, wow. Unfortunately, California is the wokest asleep state in the union.
By far.
So they will vote for him/her just to virtue signal and post it online. Yes, I'm woke. I did this. So, in my humble opinion, chances are probably good. As unfortunate as it is, but once again, the virtue signal is the norm out here. Everything is about virtue signal.
I know.
So,
do you find it odd? Oh, go ahead, Tim.
I was just gonna say that honestly, Macho Man Tranny Savage would make a great governor. How dare you?
Yeah. It's ma'am. Now, Koopa just posted something that I was just thinking, man. How come Caitlyn Jenner and Gretchen Whitmer, governor of Michigan, look so eerily similar? Do you find that uncanny?
Whew.
Pretty eerie, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of eerie things that's going on nowadays.
RP, where do you think we're going with that? To cover the trans topic, right? Where do you think that we're going with? Because in Asia, you've been to Asia, you know how it is, and I got guys in my crew that frequent Asia, right? They go to Pattaya, Walking Street, all that. They know, they come back with videos, right? Mm-hmm. And they will tell you, man, that the surgeries are getting a little too good.
Oh, I can tell you, the surgeries in Thailand were too good about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me and the meat sack, we literally watched a pageant, and we were trying to figure out which one was the man. They were all men.
Oh shit!
God, that'd be a fun game to play. It's like, yeah, all right, let's watch this and see how many of them are men. Wait, all of them?
Oh, damn!
All of them.
That's no. Was there a part of you that felt kind of scared about that? Kind of like, oh my god, because there's gonna be young guys out there who are gonna go and check for one of these people, right?
Mm-hmm. So that's why whenever we did hit Thailand for a port stop, I always told the younger guys, "Hey, check the knuckles."
Well, as Drexel knows, if she leaves the seat up, that's your red flag.
Well, do you know what's actually one of the there's the whole hand thing. I learned about this after my whole incident in your beautiful state of California down at Thad's Swing Club in San Diego. Man, I almost was damaged beyond repair. RPM,
He flew really close to the sun.
Yeah.
His wingtip scorched.
Yeah, luckily no penetration happened, or no mouth contact on genitalia happened. However, I did some research after that whole incident, right? And one of the things I learned was
what you say it was in San Diego.
Yeah, I was at Thad's Swing Club.
Oh,
you ever heard of Thad's?
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that place.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck Thad's. Okay. How about that?
I've heard of that place.
Yeah, public service announcement. Yeah, let people know if you got a tranny in your fucking club, fam. You know what I'm saying? Public service announcement at Thad Swing Club. Everybody else there, y'all cool, but yeah, go ahead. I gotta give them a shout out real quick. But but RPM, here's the thing though. I look back and I remember doing some research, and one of the things that I didn't know back then that someone recently showed me was, I want you to see pictures that show men and women standing. Women's feet are together, right? They're parallel. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Men's feet go east and west when standing. They're always tilted outward. So next time you see a picture, look at that. You'll notice. If someone has that picture, put it up in the chat. Someone posted that picture. Because, Biden appointed that new creature that looks like George Washington or Ben Franklin. And they show them standing.
You mean that motherfucker that looked like he jumped off the dollar bill?
Yeah, it's George Washington, man. I don't give a listen. Y'all can say what you want. Listen, reincarnation is real. That is George Washington, man. I don't care. No one can convince me otherwise. Yeah, RPM. If you can see that picture, right? If you can look at this picture, the meme says, "Notice how all the men's toes point outward when they stand, and all the females' feet are parallel with each other." It's true. And this person that claims they're a woman, guess what way his feet are pointed, RPM? East and west. East and west. All the women go north south. Men are east and west. See? You listen, man, don't be deceived.
You just blew his mind.
For all my brothers out there that may not know, watch everything, because RPM, we're about to reach an uncanny valley, man. I think when it gets to a point where I think they're going to start installing vocal box technology is going to be the next thing, because one of the things that these trannies can't get right is the voice, right? They just can't get it right. Can't get it.
Oh no,
yeah. Most of the time, they just sound like they ate a pack of cigarettes.
Well, yeah, a lot of them sound raspy.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is where, like I said, the Asians, they were way ahead on this, because some of the guys can't pass for a woman, and yeah. So I mean, but over here in America, yeah, they sound like they done chomped down a whole box of cigars.
Ugh. Ugh.
Oh man. Well, what we're gonna do? I'm gonna wrap up episode 28 with an email, and then we're just gonna jump straight into bonus episode 7.
Oh, nice.
So for those who are listening live right now, you guys know that the bonus episodes are, I like to do one regular episode and one bonus episode with our guests. So we've had TFM on, right? We did a regular episode, we did a bonus episode, blah, 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 blah. That just gives it a little chance to kind of pop the hood a little bit, because you can go a little raunchy in the bonus episodes, right? They don't go on YouTube. So we're going to do a Migtown After Dark, if you know what I mean. So let me hit this email really quick, and then we'll close out the show. RPM, thank you very much for coming out, man.
Of course.
So Drexel, this gentleman is asking for advice on an Arab thought.
What about him?
Okay.
How to score with an Arab? Just be white. Just be a white man.
Well, this isn't going to work, because you can't. If you're not a white man, you can't change that.
Oh, okay, so he's not a white guy. He wants to score with an Arab chick.
Yeah. So here's his story. 22-year-old, overweight but losing some. Doesn't have a lot of money, but his dad's got money and a nice car that he can borrow. He's African from Sudan, living in Saudi Arabia. Just started a job, and he's looking for a constant fuck buddy. But he doesn't really get very much because, I guess he's got autism and a general hate for people.
Hire a pro.
He says he's a big fan of you and of Nick, the law guy, but forgot his name.
I would say I'm with RPM on this. Hire a pro, because here's the reason why. If he winds up trying to do something, if he's that socially, let's just say socially awkward and stuff, in terms of not liking dealing with people, well, as we all know, you still got to have some kind of a mouthpiece to talk to women, right? You can't just walk up to them and if you especially if you're autistic or whatever. Yeah, and Saudis are from what my man Amr says from Alpha Male Lifestyle. He said they're even worse than black women. He talks about these Arab women. He goes, they are the worst at when it comes to female nature, right? In terms of hypergamy, going to the courts. He knows, and yeah, man. You know what's kind of shocking though, RPM, is that there's so many guys that have this thing where they have to lock in on like one ethnicity, right? Did you ever notice that, like when you were, especially in the service in Asia? Obviously, it was easy to smash Asian chicks when you're in the service as an American. But did you ever notice that kind of guys who have like that thing, like I really like, insert random ethnicity here, right?
Well, see, here's the thing about it. Is it that they truly like the ethnicity, or have they fetishized the ethnicity? That's that's always the devil in the detail.
Yeah. Well, I think it can be a bit of both. Now, here's the thing that I've had to answer, because black chicks, and this, RPM, black women get offended when they are like, oh yeah, you're into those white girls or whatever. In your case, Asian, right? They're always gonna try to shame you because you're not with a black chick, right? And then they try to use the whole they're just with you because they're fetishizing you. Do you know what's funny about when people say someone is fetishizing you, especially when it comes to men? This is also a projection that women have. Women would feel used if a bunch of men fetishize them, whether they're black or Asian or white or Latino, whatever, right? Arab. It doesn't work the same way with men. A man never feels bad if every woman on earth fetishizes him and he's smashing. He's like, hey, I'm winning. I got what I wanted. Mm-hmm. You want the BBC and you've been watching videos? I don't fetishize me all you want, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, we can roll with that punch. We can use it to our advantage.
Yeah. Oh, I'm RPM. I'm a woman who's going to use you for sex. You've never heard a guy say, you know what? I'll tell you what I'm tired of, RPM. I'm tired of all these women just hitting me up wanting sex. You have never heard that in your life, have you? Never.
So, RPM, are you familiar with the Dubai porta potty? Speaking of Arab.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, man, shout out to all my sultans, all my Arab pimps out there who are going ahead and flying these hoes in and showing them what a camel dick can do. Shout out to all y'all, man. And you guys don't know, Google it.
Never once will these guys text their buddies and be like, I'm just sick of all these thoughts thoughting it up out here. Like, I can't
I'm just tired of taking shits on these women.
Yeah, I'm tired of it.
I'm just tired of pissing in their hair.
Yeah.
I just can't do it anymore.
I can't do it anymore. So RPM, I had to explain this to a chick once. I said, simps and thoughts are the same person on opposite ends of the spectrum, right? And I said, so this is how this works. A woman feels used when she is what? She's giving away sex and not getting money in exchange, right? Some kind of a resource in exchange, right? She feels like she got used. I just met this guy, he smashed me and then just walked away. Now you could always say, oh, she still got attention, but she didn't get what she really wanted. You see what I'm saying? Now,
she wants the resources.
She wants the resources.
Attention is like a promissory note for money, right?
Correct. So when they don't get it, they feel used. Like, oh my God, he used me. Hence me too, right? Now watch this. On the flip side, that's why men don't ever feel like they got used for sex. That when men cry, hey man, I'm getting used, here's what happened. They invested resources and didn't get the sex. I'm getting used for foodie calls, Drex. Why would you do that, bro? See? He's mad that he took her on dates, right? He paid for dinner and drinks and took her to the ball game, and he didn't get laid. That's what makes guys mad.
Yeah.
See?
And that's why nowadays, I don't know why guys are still playing the field, but they're gonna play. They're going to have to be absolutely
honest,
ruthless.
Yep.
When it comes to it, brutal fucking honesty.
Okay, RPM, plug your stuff. Where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me on Migtown.tv, Red Pill Married, all caps. Or you can find me over on YouTube, just r.p.m.
You haven't gotten Susaned yet?
I've had 3 channels Susaned.
Drex, you got to get down there, man. I was telling RPM before you hopped in here. I said, you're gonna go down there. You're gonna dick down Susan in return for getting TFM back on.
Yeah, RPM. I'm gonna tell you how much I love TFM. Shout out to Turfling and Monkey, by the way. You're my brother from another mother, and he's incredible help to the manosphere. The main reason why I'm gonna smash Susan is, for all guys, right? For all the guys out there, for all the free speech, right? I'm pro free speech, but on a personal level, I feel that the God Chimp Emperor himself must come back to YouTube to get new subscribers and red pill more guys, right? And I'll tell you what, RPM, I am going. Oh, look at that fucking face. Jesus
Koopa,
Christ.
how could you?
Oh my
Oh
God.
man,
Those lips are waiting for you,
Oh,
Drex.
damn.
I'm looking at them fucking teeth, man. She
I
like she
know,
could chew some
bro.
granite.
Yeah, she looks like a beaver. RPM. I'm willing to go through with it, man. I'll go through with it. To get TFM back on and to protect all guys like shout out to my man Ken Del Rican, Hammerhand, everybody, guys who've gotten channels nuked, right? Red Pill on steroids. I will gladly smash Susan. RPM, if you ever see me in California, right? And you're like, why the hell is Drex? Oh, and you see me near YouTube campus, you know what I'm coming to do. You are, if you're ever wondering, like, hey, RPM, real shit. Actually been caught in California, man. I kid you not. I'll never forget this, man. I was in line heading out of San Francisco, right? And there was a girl who goes, Drexel? I looked like, oh shit. Like, who knows me, right? Who knows me out here? And I turn and I'm like, oh shit. It was a gal who from work, right? And she just so happened to be out there with her boyfriend, right? And I'll never forget this RPM. So I'm talking to her for like about a minute, right? She goes, oh, so what, you got family out here? RPM. I turned directly to her boyfriend, a black dude, right? She's Asian and she's with a black guy, right? I just turned and looked at him and we exchanged that look that only men know, right? Like, are you fucking serious? And
yeah, the implied face palm.
Yeah. He actually did do a face palm, like a light face palm. Lowered his head, starts laughing, and shakes his head, and he just has this big ass grin. And she then realized, like, oh, that's why you're out here. I'm like, what? Did you really think do I look like I know anybody in San Francisco? No. Fuck no. It's San Francisco. Just like when you see me in Portland. What the hell is Drexel? Oh, he's tying bitches up. RPM, there are some terrible places in America, and that's what makes them great, right? Leftist cities are a great place for guys like us. If we choose to dibble and dabble in leftist peace leave.
Yeah.
I know. But RPM, they do everything, man. They do everything.
All right, RPM, thank you very much for coming on. Once again, Drex, closing thoughts for this episode. What are we gonna call this episode? I mean, we covered a lot.
Hockey mask red pills.
Yeah, Drexel versus the hockey mask. Oh yes, we're gonna get you done. We're gonna get you all Jasoned up with the artist.
I mean, RPM is a legend. I mean, this guy's a literal living legend, man.
Thank you for listening, everyone. We'll see you next week. Stay frosty.
Peace.
And remember, gents, when the power goes out, feminism will go out right along with it.
I love this guy.